Sophie, did you change your routine before the last couple games or anything? What do you think? I'm over here. Sorry. Hi, Sophie. It's okay. Do you change your routine the last couple games or something? What do you feel like is going into your hot run of shooting here?
It's called a PRP shot, elbow.
Wow! Wow! No, she did. No, she didn't just say that. Wow! So she said she got a shot in her elbow, right? Sophie Cunningham is embarrassing the Fever front office before.
Everything is going to be standard PR talk, only to have one of your star players accidentally pull back the curtain on a major medical secret. That's exactly what happened when Sophie Cunningham sat down at the mic recently, and if you look closely at the faces of her teammates, you could see the exact moment the panic set in. It wasn't just a casual comment about a hot shooting streak. It was a reveal that might have just put the Indiana Fever's front office in a very awkward position. Sophie is known for being a straight shooter, but this time, her honesty might have gone a little too far for comfort. When Sophie was asked about what changed in her routine to spark her recent high-scoring run, she didn't give the typical, "I'm just hitting the gym harder" answer. Instead, she dropped the term PRP shot. For those who don't know, platelet-rich plasma therapy is a serious medical procedure used to treat chronic injuries. And in the world of professional sports, admitting to these treatments can sometimes signal a much bigger problem than the team is letting on. You could practically feel the air leave the room when she said it. It raises the question of whether the Fever have been playing her through an injury that's much worse than what's on the official report. But the drama didn't stop with the medical talk. It was the reaction from the woman sitting right next to her that really told the story. Kelsey.
I think it's a never-ending thing, though. You can never really get comfortable, especially not in this league. You play against a great team every night, really, and so it's about not getting too high, not too low, but really just staying true to the values in which we set in place when we are working, when we're practicing and we're putting in work. It's important that we try to keep those principles and stick to them and actually believe them, especially when things are going bad. I think that sometimes we kind of waver in our mentality when things are not going the best, and I think that as a group we just got to keep believing and pouring into each other.
Now, Caitlin Clark did speak to the.
Mitchell is a veteran, a pro's pro, and someone who knows exactly how to handle the media. But as Sophie started talking about her elbow and the fixes she had to get, Kelsey's face was a map of pure anxiety. Fans have been buzzing about it, pointing out that Kelsey looked like she was literally praying Sophie wouldn't say anything that would lead to a fine or a front office scandal. It's no secret that the spotlight on the Fever has reached a fever pitch this season, and every word said in those pressers is scrutinized by millions. There's a silent tension there, a feeling that one wrong sentence could blow up the team's chemistry or bring down the hammer from the league. And speaking of things that are being scrutinized, let's talk about the mysterious bracelet Caitlin Clark has been sporting. If you blinked, you probably missed it, but there were numbers written on her wrist that have the entire basketball world playing detective: 10, 12, 26. When she was asked about it, Caitlin gave that classic, mysterious, "I know something you don't" smile. Rumors are swirling that this is the official launch date for her signature Nike shoe, a project that has been kept under tighter lock and key than a government secret. But it's not just a shoe, it's a $28 million statement. Caitlin isn't just playing basketball, she's building an empire, and that new technology she teased in her Nike partnership suggests that this isn't just another celebrity endorsement, it's a shift in how women's sports gear is engineered. But while the off-court business is booming, the on-court reality is a lot more chaotic. The Fever have been their own worst enemy lately, and the numbers don't lie. They're turning the ball over at a rate that would make most coaches lose their minds. 11 turnovers in a single half? That's not just growing pains, that's a crisis of communication. Sophie Cunningham was honest about it, admitting that the team has been shooting themselves in the foot all year. But while she's willing to call out the bad with the good, you have to wonder if the constant errors are starting to fray the nerves of the veterans who have been in this league for years. You can see the frustration boiling over in the huddles, and the margin for error is getting smaller with every game. What's even more interesting is how the leadership roles are shifting behind the scenes. We all know Caitlin is the face of the franchise, but she's been quick to point out that Aaliyah Boston is the real vocal leader in the locker room. In fact, there was a point last season where Aaliyah was essentially acting as the team's point guard. That's a lot of weight to put on a post player's shoulders. The transition from being a struggling team to a playoff contender is never smooth, and that power struggle between who leads and who follows is something the media rarely gets to see. Caitlin mentioned that she's gained confidence in her body after a grueling start to the season, but the physical toll of this league is starting to show on everyone. The physicality isn't just coming from the players, though, it's coming from the officiating too. The WNBA referees have been under fire all season, and the Fever game was another example of what many are calling an embarrassment. There have been moments where the calls seem so inconsistent that it's hard for the players to find any kind of rhythm. When you combine bad calls with high turnover rates, you get a recipe for the kind of blown leads that have haunted Indiana for the past few weeks. They'll build a double-digit lead, look like the best team in the league, and then suddenly fall apart in the third quarter. It's a pattern that has fans worried and analysts scratching their heads. Yet, through all the noise, the Caitlin Clark effect continues to reach people in ways that have nothing to do with a box score. There was a moment recently where a little girl walked up and just wrapped herself around Caitlin's leg. It was a viral moment that reminded everyone why this season feels so different. Caitlin admitted that in those moments, she realizes her impact goes far beyond how many points she scores or how many turnovers she has. It's about the superpower she gives to the next generation. But that superpower comes with a heavy price. The pressure to be perfect, the pressure to sell out arenas, and the pressure to save a franchise that has struggled for a decade. The story of the Fever right now is one of massive growth hidden inside a shell of controversy. You have players like Sophie Cunningham letting medical secrets slip, veterans like Kelsey Mitchell trying to keep the ship steady while the cameras follow their every eye roll, and a superstar in Caitlin Clark who is trying to balance a signature shoe deal with a league that is physically trying to break her. Every game feels like a soap opera where the stakes are professional, financial, and personal. They're finally starting to put the pedal to the metal, as Sophie said, but as they speed up, the risk of a total crash becomes even more real. As the season progresses, the question isn't just whether the Fever can make the playoffs, but whether they can survive the intensity of the spotlight they've created. Between the secret medical treatments, the unheard of shoe technology, and the internal struggle for leadership, the Indiana Fever are the most compelling drama in sports right now. They've shown they can win the close games, but can they stop beating themselves? The October 12, 26 date might be the launch of a shoe, but for this team, every single day feels like a launch into a new era of basketball, one that is as chaotic as it is revolutionary. The tension in the locker room is palpable, but so is the potential. When you see a team that can score the most points in franchise history while simultaneously turning the ball over 17 times, you're looking at a group that is teetering on the edge of greatness and disaster. They've got the talent, they've got the hype, and they've got the eyes of the world on them. Now, they just have to figure out how to stay out of their own way. Whether it's through PRP shots, prayer, or just pure discipline, the Fever are trying to flip the script. But in a league this tough, the script has a way of flipping itself back when you least expect it. What do you think is really going on behind the scenes with Sophie's injury? Is the front office truly embarrassed? Or is this just the reality of professional sports in 2024? And that bracelet, do you think Caitlin is hinting at something even bigger than a shoe? The WNBA is changing right before our eyes, and the Indiana Fever are the ones leading the charge, for better or for worse. One thing is for certain, the world is watching, and the players know that every word, every gesture, and every missed layup is part of a much larger story that is still being written. As the team navigates these growing pains, the role of the fans becomes even more crucial. They aren't just spectators anymore, they're part of the narrative. From the Kelsey Mitchell stands, who show up in the comments to the young kids wearing pink Nikes in the stands, the energy surrounding this team is unlike anything we've ever seen in women's basketball. It's a movement, a shift in the culture that goes beyond the four corners of the court. And while the road to a championship is paved with turnovers and referee controversies, the destination might just change the game forever. In the end, it's the human moments that stick with us. The honesty of a player admitted she's struggling, the anxiety of a teammate hoping for the best, and the quiet discipline of a superstar preparing for her next big move. The Indiana Fever are more than just a basketball team. They're a reflection of the challenges and triumphs of being a woman in the spotlight today. And as they continue to flip the script, we'll be right here, watching every chapter unfold. Because in this league, the only thing you can expect is the unexpected. The journey of the Fever this season is a masterclass in managing expectations while under a microscope. Every time they step onto the floor, they aren't just playing against an opponent, they're playing against the narrative that surrounds them. Are they too young? Is the chemistry off? Can Caitlin Clark handle the physicality? These questions are answered in real time, often through the very slip-ups and leaks that keep the fans engaged. When Sophie Cunningham mentioned that PRP shot, she wasn't just talking about her elbow. She was talking about the lengths these athletes go to just to stay on the court for our entertainment. It's a high-stakes gamble every night.
Me, like I loved, wearing whatever Nike shoe it was growing up. I remember my first pair of Jordans, like pink Jordans that I had. And I remember my very first pink pair of Nike basketball shoes that I also had, just like the very basic model. It wasn't anybody's signature shoe or anything, but for myself to be able to have a signature shoe and, for young boys and young girls to be able to, hopefully want to wear it and be able to put it on and, dream. You don't have to be a basketball player, but dream to achieve whatever you want. And I think that's what I hope people feel when they put the shoe on. And
think about the pressure on a player like Kelsey Mitchell. For years, she was the primary scoring option, the one the team looked to in crunch time. Now, she's sharing the backcourt with a generational talent who has her own signature shoe before her second season is even over. That kind of transition would be hard for anyone, let alone someone as competitive as Kelsey. Her prayer face during the press conference wasn't just about Sophie. It was about the collective weight of the season. It's about the desire to just focus on the game when everything else, the shoes, the bracelets, the medical rumors, is pulling focus away from the court. And yet, despite the 11 turnover halves and the blown leads, there is an undeniable sense of growth that Sophie mentioned. They are learning how to win the ugly games. They are learning how to value the ball, even if it's a slow process. The pedal to the metal mentality is starting to take hold. If they can clean up the mistakes and stay healthy, the second half of this season could be legendary. But that's a big if in a league where the margin for error is non-existent. The medical staff, the coaches, and the players are all walking a tightrope. Ultimately, the October 12, 26th date on Caitlin's wrist serves as a reminder that the future is already planned. The business of basketball is moving forward at light speed, regardless of what happens in the next game. But for the players on the court, the only date that matters is the next one on the schedule. They have to live in the present, even as the world around them is obsessed with what's coming next. Whether it's a new shoe, a new leadership style, or just a new way to handle the press, the Indiana Fever are proving that they are ready for the challenge. They're no longer just a team, they're a phenomenon, and the world is just...
Hey, Kelsey Mitchell Stan. Shout out to Kelsey Mitchell Stan, because you've been quiet these last couple post-game shows, Kelsey Mitchell Stan. You've been real quiet, Kelsey Stan. Y'all got to come pull up. You got to come pull up, good or bad. Now, I'm going to give you some grace today, Kelsey Mitchell Stan, because she balled out. But you got to pull up when she don't. When she don't, because we got to sit in the kitchen when Caitlin not doing good. We do. You don't be coming around here when she balling. You got to come all the time.
This new shoe, I'm sorry, going up.
Yeah, I mean,
trying to keep up. As we look toward the next few weeks, keep an eye on how the team handles these small controversies. Do they tighten up their PR? Or do they lean into the honesty that Sophie Cunningham displayed? Does Caitlin finally reveal the secret of her wristband? Or does she keep us guessing until 2026? One thing is for sure, the Indiana Fever are the most interesting story in sports. And they're just getting started. Every turnover, every shot, and every medical reveal is just another brick in the wall of a legacy that is being built in real time. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come, and you won't want to miss a single second of this journey. The conversation doesn't end here though. Every time a player like Caitlin Clark speaks about the sacrifice and discipline it takes to stay at the top. It's a reminder of the invisible work that goes into those highlight reels. It's the hours in the training room, the private conversations with medical staff, and the mental grit to ignore the noise. When she talks about her superpower, she's really talking about the resilience it takes to be a pioneer in a sport that is finally getting the recognition it deserves. The Fever are the vanguard of this new era, and while being a pioneer is never easy, the rewards are starting to show. So, as we watch the ball pop and the team find their rhythm, let's remember the stories behind the stats. Let's remember the PRP shots, the signature shoes, and the young fans who see a superhero every time Caitlin Clark walks onto the court. The WNBA is more than just a league. It's a community that is growing, changing, and challenging the status quo every single day. And the Indiana Fever? They're the ones holding the pen, writing a story that we'll be talking about for decades to come. The script isn't just being flipped, it's being rewritten entirely. And we're all lucky enough to have a front row seat to the transformation.